It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Welcome to The New Next, a podcast that addresses current events and how they will impact the future.
I'm writing a paper article right now about venture capital and essentially my belief that, and we know this to be true in typical finance, that it's much harder to manage $50 billion than it is $2 billion, because you basically have to go out and find more stuff to invest in without moving the markets. So I was talking about A19Z, the venture capital firm formerly called Andreessen Horowitz, but in recent years they went all way into crypto and NFTs and stuff. It has, when you go into deal size that large, it has the it's good for your assets under management and your fee base, but in terms of the overall market and innovation, when you have so much money going to so few people, they have a tendency maybe to not be as innovative as the market would be otherwise if it was more broad-based, spread out investment on it. So some of the results of, saying doing a $200 million venture round for a company is that the other companies in the market that would need that capital to expand don't have it, or you have situations where it's kind of a follow-on, like people see that someone gets $200 million and then they tweak their business to fit that. So you're seeing a lot of that with AI right now, where there's a lot of companies that don't really have any long-term commercial viability that are getting immense amounts of money. Or, I have a belief that really the less the one ring to rules them all method for AI, but modular specifications and AI that mimics more about how a corporation interacts and works together, or any sort of like structure like that, where you have different people with different specializations working together. That I feel is the most efficient manner. And then, really seeing a lot of embedded AI into machines, technologies, and stuff like that being a big thing. So, the incentive when you give like a venture capital firm, SoftBank is a great example, and they're not really a venture per se, but we've talked about their investments in WeWork previously and a lot of other companies. They've had a lot of success too, but it's when you have that much money, you have to find things to invest it in, and that can be very, very difficult. And if there's also a concentration among a few large players, then you have situations where who raised first is in a dominant position. They can basically spend as much money to get all the attention, and limit the ability for other entrepreneurs to really scale in the market, or I guess bootstrappers too. It has the perverse incentives too, because a lot of people in that market are really trying to get a big exit from the entrepreneur sense. So you have a lot of companies that are maybe more just straight analytics firms that are now registering .ai domain names. So it's I mean, favorite word of this podcast. It's interesting to see how this all pans out. The human motives to really go after what's hot, and really almost concentrate too much money in too few players, where they get dominance in the market. So, yeah, it's interesting. But to go back to the monopolistic sense before, like I think, there's that term in finance that past performance doesn't indicate future results. But when it comes to financing, that's, I'd say, not typically accurate. The companies that get a lot of money through fundraising have a tendency to get more. And you see some of these companies that they raise a lot of money. There's a lot of credibility that's given to them, even though they don't necessarily have the best product. And then you go out on a buying spree, almost acting like a public company, buying a lot of these smaller startups that are actually farther along than the parent company, essentially. And it really has perverse incentives for the overall innovation market.
If you would like to learn more about the New Next podcast, find us at thenewnextpodcast.com, where you can suggest a topic you would like for us to cover. If you enjoyed what you heard, share the podcast, tell a friend about it, or rate us with 5 stars.